Hello, I'm Harry Smith, Onslow County Tax Administrator, and today I would like to share some information regarding the application for property tax relief. In North Carolina, property tax relief programs are offered for elderly or disabled exclusions, disabled veteran exclusions, and also there's a circuit breaker tax deferment program. The same application is used for all three programs. On your screen, you'll see the first page of the application for property tax relief. And what I would like to do is just take a few minutes to walk you through the process of how to complete the form. The first page is requesting that you complete the information for the property ID number, if you have it, also known as your parcel number, and also your personal information such as name, residence address, and mailing address if it's different than your residence address. As we scroll down the form, there are some questions at the bottom of the first page which also need to be completed. The online form is very easy to complete. All you have to do is click on the field that you want to type in information for, or click on the applicable boxes for the yes/no questions at the bottom of the form. After the first page is filled out, we'll move down to page 2. And this is an important page where the applicant must select which program they are applying for. As you can see near the bottom of Part 1, there are check boxes for the elderly or disabled exclusion, the disabled veteran, and the circuit breaker. And over to the right side, it tells you which other sections of the application must be completed for the program that you're applying for. We'll first review the elderly or disabled exclusion. By looking at the application form, we see that we need to complete parts 2, 5, and 6. Page 2, or part 2, is on the same page, so we'll just scroll down a little bit. And the short description tells us what the qualification requirements are for this program and what the benefit is. The program excludes the greater of $25,000 or 50% of the appraised value of the permanent residence. There are 2 check boxes here as well, one for to verify your age as 65 years or older, or if you're not 65 but you are permanently and totally disabled, you may also qualify. Please note that if you are not 65 years or old and applying for this program, we do have to have Form AV9A, which is a certificate of disability, completed and signed by a licensed physician. Once we've completed Part 2, we also need to go to Parts 5 and 6. And since this is an income-based program, Part 5 is where we would include our income information. Please note that Social Security number is required in order to process this application. If you're filing a federal income tax return, we do need a copy of the front page of that tax return. If you're filing a return but haven't done so by the time you apply for the application still needs to be submitted by June the 1st of the current tax year, and then you would just return the income tax return to the tax office once it's been filed. If you're not filing a tax return or not required to file a tax return, we do need documentation of any income that has been received for the prior year, which includes any wages, salaries, interest, dividends, 1099s that you receive from pensions or disability programs, or interest or dividends. Once Section 5 has been completed, we'll scroll down, we'll go to the next page, Part 6 of the application, which is where we need a signature and a date. And once again, just to remind you, the application deadline is June the 1st of each year. Now we're going to go back up and talk about the disabled veteran exclusion. So we see for disabled veteran exclusion, we need to complete parts 3 and 6. Since the disabled veteran exclusion is not income-based, we do not need any income information, but we do need for the disabled veteran to answer these questions in part 3. I would also like to point out that an unmarried surviving spouse of a disabled veteran may also qualify for this program. In addition to the application, which is filed with the tax office by June 1st, there's also an additional form, which is Form NC-DVA-9, which must be approved by the Veterans Affairs Department in order to qualify for this exclusion. So Form NC-DVA-9 can be submitted to the tax office. We work closely with our Veteran Service Officer to send these forms to the VA for approval. It is important to note that once the VA approves the form, they send it back to the applicant, not to the tax office. So once the applicant receives the form back from the VA, they need to bring it into the tax office to complete the application. In addition to Part 3, applicants for the Disabled Veteran Program also need to go and complete Part 6, which is the name and the signature section. We'll briefly go back up and touch on the Circuit Breaker Program. The Circuit Breaker is another program that is income-based, and we see that in addition to the front page, we also need to complete Parts 4, 5, and 6 for the Circuit Breaker Program. First, we'll look at Section 4, or Part 4, and we see that this program is also for those who are 65 years of age or totally and permanently disabled. There is an income limit also with this program. For the elderly and disabled program, the income limit is $29,600. Since the circuit breaker is based on capping your taxes at a percentage of income, there are actually two limits involved with this program. The first one is $29,600, which would cap your tax liability at 4% of your income, but it also extends up to $44,400 for a 5% cap on income. The qualification requirements for the circuit breaker are similar to the elderly disabled as far as the age or disability requirement, but in addition, there is a residency requirement for the circuit breaker program that says that you have to have occupied the property for 5 years prior to applying for this program. And also, please note that these are deferred taxes and remain a lien on the property. And should a disqualifying event occur, the last 3 years of deferred taxes prior to that event would become due and payable with interest. We note that we have also need to complete Sections 5, which is our income section, similar to the property tax relief program for elderly or disabled persons. The same application or same section needs to be completed, Part 5 of the application, which requires submission of the income tax return or documentation of any income received, and also the affirmation and signature section, which is Part 6 of the application. The property tax relief application form, as well as the disabled veterans certification, which is Form NC-DVA-9, and the disability certification, which must be signed by a licensed physician, which is Form AV-9A, can be found on the Onslow County website on the tax office page at onslowcountync.gov/tax. For more information or questions, feel free to contact the tax office listings division at 910-989-2201. Thank you.